Hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head. Get you out of my head.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and the eyes seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming, I'm sick of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Know that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks, I'll beat it down. I crossed the line just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't leave the same. Then I turn with a just play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Please note. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to making up. I haven't got my headphones on yet because the music was so loud in my ears. I decided no, not happening. Right, making an impact. Ladies and gentlemen, Brett is on his way. If he can, he potentially could turn up, could not. We will see. He's got some technical difficulties at the moment. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of every single age and everywhere else in between, to me, my name's Mark Talks. This is Astrid Pizarro, and welcome to Making an Impact.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
He's stolen my spot. He's stolen my spot. You've stolen my spot, and I'm unhappy about it.
Who has a designated spot?
Oh my dear God, what is going on over there? Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new episode 4 of Making an Impact. Yes, Brett is here. I have seen his face for about 3 seconds behind. Oh, Jesus! And he's finally here. He's finally able to sort the internet issues he has out, and we're finally here. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't known who we are, and this is the first time you're tuning into one of our shows, this is Making an Impact, where we discuss the weekly TNA shows. Plus, we will be here at the end on any PLE that is coming up if we can be asked. If it's Astrid, probably not. But if it's normal people, most probably. I'm already winding her up. This is going to be fun. So if you haven't already, make sure if you're watching this on any of the channels that are around, make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and you will get instant notification for anything that is coming up over the weekend plus the week. We've got a jam-packed shows for you coming up tomorrow. Hello, OLE, Bobby, and everyone else. We've got loads of shows coming out tomorrow. We've got shows coming out Sunday. I'm recording out of my arse, and I'm on everything over the weekend. So if you want to see this beautiful mug, sorry, Brett, for once, this beautiful mug's taken over the show. I'm really annoyed that I can't see your face fully because you have got a very beautiful mug that really helps this show for ratings. But yes, thank you ever so much for joining us. We're going to get the first things we're going to get into is I want to talk to Brett first. How is everything? Are you okay?
I'm doing fab. I feel like the TNA shows were forever ago, but they're also not. It's crazy how much happens. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
You can hear me good. Okay. It's crazy how much happens in wrestling in such a short amount of time. So just going to the shows, being able to attend them was a great opportunity. I always appreciate whenever I'm able to go.
Oh, he's so excited. He's having a very long pause.
I think it's his internet for sure.
Hello, Milton. Hello, hope you're doing well. Hope everything's all right. I presume that's a sister. Okay.
No, that's my dad.
It's your dad. Daddy! It's Daddy! Triple H Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, my God. There's so many questions. He's here now, and there's so many questions I want to ask him. Do we just fuck off TNA just to talk to your dad? I think that might be a thing that we do. So,
Just
first off,
one question.
how are you, sir?
That's it. Okay, Brett's back. There you go.
No, he stole my spot. Thank you.
We don't hotspots in here. You can go
Listen. No. Listen. This is like the bloodline tree. I'm the final boss.
No, then we go this way then. Okay.
Oh, Hollywood Astrid's fully coming out now, isn't it? Hollywood Astrid's fully coming out now. Brett, we heard that you were saying that it was good for you to attend the shows. You enjoyed it. Without doing any spoilers for what's coming up this week and next week and maybe some other tapings that went on as well, what were your thoughts on the overall event? Because when I saw you on the screen, right, I don't know whether you've seen or if you've watched it back, but when I watch you, I look specifically because I know where you are, and you have this face the whole time. I
hate being on camera.
A bit of the wrong place to do that, then, aren't we?
He picks the front row.
Exactly, and with the camera side as well. Your face. I spoke about this with Ed last week, and we said we watch your face to see if you're enjoying it or not. But we then soon discovered that we can't work out exactly how you were feeling because it was the same face for all the way through.
There's some moments that are coming up that I hope they got my face on camera because it's gonna be good. The reactions, yeah. But when I'm just like sitting there, I feel like I'm just like in my own world enjoying it, or not. But then you can't tell.
You really can't tell. You really can't tell.
No.
But there is a funny story that you told us on the Discord, and I would like you to share it with everyone. When you went face to face with your favorite person in the whole entire world, and by the way, I was this close. I mean, this close to putting AJ Francis next to you in the thumbnail. You do not know how close I was to do it, by the way. I literally had it side by side and I went, do I actually do this? You'll explain to the people at home who may not have seen it or probably never heard of it, explain the interaction you had with Mr. Flop Dollar.
What a time. After the show, you can, pay to meet whoever you want, basically, out of the people that they offer. They were offering Joe Hendry, the Hardys, First Class, and Masha. And I wanted to meet Masha. She's like one of the people that I have not been able to meet in the past. Huge fan of her since she's joined TNA. I think she's done fantastic work. So I decided that I was meeting Masha Slamovich. So I get in line and it's my turn to talk to her, whatever, take a picture. And next to her, of course, has to be First Class's meet and greet thing. And AJ's sitting there and he has sunglasses on. And it's one of those things, like, he had sunglasses on, but I knew he was looking at me. But I was like, I highly doubt that he recognized it was me. We've probably tweeted each other back and forth a couple of times because I'm an asshole. But I was sitting there talking to Masha and I lost my, what is it? Train of thought. Thank you. Just like I did there. And and AJ lifted up his sunglasses, which I don't know why he was wearing sunglasses inside. Well, anyway, and he said something to me and I was like, what? Because I was expecting like the worst. So of course I had an attitude. And then he said it again and I caught like a small snippet of what he said and then I was like, what? And Masha Slamovich, mind you, is standing right in front of me. And she's just kind of like, what is going on? And AJ, and then I heard him say, you look swole in that shirt. And then I just remember being like, oh, thank you.
You fully bottled it. Bottled it.
I did. But the funniest thing about me is usually when I say that I'm going to do something, I end up doing it. So one of my friends told me that I should get a meet and greet with just Casey Navarro. And I did. But I didn't know that this interaction was going to happen before I go meet Casey Navarro. So now all of this has happened, and then right in front of AJ, I meet and take a picture with Casey Navarro and not him. And you could tell the whole time he was just like... Because also out of the two of them, AJ is more well-known. So if anybody was going to go get just a picture, it was probably going to be with AJ. And I was not going to allow that to happen. So yeah, I do feel bad. I was definitely in the wrong. I definitely made the B in Brett that day stand for bitch because that was definitely the move that I decided to go with. But that was very nice of him.
It was. He said you look swole. You look good in that shirt. Flop Dollar was really trying to put you over. And you basically bitch slapped him, which is something that I wish was caught on camera. So it was the way that the people at home won't know this or anything, but we have a Discord channel amongst all the content creators on OLE. And he did a voice note of this. And by the way, when I listened to this was early in the morning when I listened to it in my time. I have never pissed myself with laughter as much that early in the morning while I was listening to you of how your interaction went was brilliant. We're going to get off AJ Francis now, but how was it for you to experience TNA Live, the live show? We haven't had you on since we've reviewed the TNA Live show. How was that? And how was your feeling towards maybe superstars that you weren't a fan of, that maybe you think of a different light now, or you're still not a fan of? Because I know certain people next to you had certain signs that they showed during it as well. What was your overall, especially with the TNA Live show, what was your feeling of going in? We know going into it you were excited, you were pumped that you were able to go to a TNA Live show, but what was it for you about that live show, not the recording, but that live show that really stood out for you?
To be honest, I think it was the setup of it all. It looked very professional compared to any other TNA event I can remember going to previously or even witnessing at home. Just the graphics, the camera angles, it just felt like they knew what they were doing. This time around, I didn't feel like there were any hiccups, at least from a live perspective on my end. I honestly think the weak points were just the show itself, to be honest. I think could have been stronger. I think they marketed Genesis as a new beginning, and it was a good show. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, not that it needed to be. I think it was a good show. But then the live show, to capitalize on it after 8 years of not being live, I don't think that they did everything that they could have. And I think they hyped up some things and they delivered, but it's one of those things that I feel like the payoff of what they did on the live show is not going to be revealed until months down the line. Like, is this talent worth it? Are they going to invest in Mance? Are they going to invest in, is Matt Cardona sticking around? What is the situation there? Like, because to give Matt Cardona on the live show that spot, and if he's not sticking around, that seems crazy to me. I don't know how you guys feel, but that to me seems like a very big spot that he was inserted in. And he's, been in TNA, left. And I think he would be a great addition to the roster. The roster needs a lot of help right now. He's one of those guys you can put in the digital media scene and I feel in the heavyweight scene. But if they don't have him around, it's kind of like, why did you put him there? We've seen him before. It's not like it was... If Matt Cardona had never been in TNA before, I would be more fine with it. But we've seen Matt Cardona. So if he's not sticking around to insert him in that important spot is kind of questionable.
I have one question about the live show. What was it like getting the front row seat to Steph Delander's OnlyFans live show?
I love her. I think she's fantastic. I do. I think she's a great character, but I think the payoff, again, are they going to invest in Mance? Because obviously them being a couple and now being in this on-screen situation, if they don't invest in him, it's also going to be a lack of investment in Steph Delander. And what are they going to do with the media title? I think that's interesting to see. Like, they really got to sell us on the fact that they're keeping it around and going to use it, because right now it feels like a trophy.
It feels like at the moment that they haven't planned for when PCO left, and then now they're trying to catch up on all the stuff. After PCO left, and now they've got Sami Callihan around, with it as well. So yes. So apparently that he's done this before in MLW and then GCW before. So maybe they're trying to, it might connect to a different audience. For me, seeing an OnlyFans show was quite of a shock. But at the same time, if they think that that's the way to go for it. Right, let's go on to the portion now of the show that we experienced last night. I'm going to go with Astrid first on this one, because I've had enough listening to Brett for a moment. I can never live enough listening to you. I can never have enough listening to you. But anyway, so Astrid, Nic Nemeth opened the show. I want to get this is when I'm going to get annoyed at the certain things of the show, but I want to get your thoughts on Nic Nemeth opening the show, which led to the main event of the evening, the match that happened.
So I'm not because I'm not a fan of half of the team, and put it like that, because even you can tell where this is going. I'm not entirely, like, I don't want to say happy, but I'm not the type of person that would have liked for First Class to interrupt this promo. And I am more interested in the storyline between Ryan and Nick themselves rather than having First Class involved in here. I prefer that because we haven't had them like facing each other before, like on TV. as brother versus brother. So, and it's something that's brewing right now. So we see that coming up sometime in the future. But to have First Class interrupt this, I'm not entirely a fan of that. I like Casey, but not a fan of AJ. Sorry, AJ, if you see this, you probably won't, but still. But yeah, I feel like the to me also with the live show, they should have probably tried either not doing Joe Hendry defending the title then, or having him defend against Nick just to do the rematch. I don't know how I feel about this like promo and in putting this a little bit longer before they put it back on him. And not only that, but later on in the show, Joe Hendry says about defending the title, but he doesn't say he's going to defend it against Nick anytime soon. It doesn't mention him any way, shape, or form. So it makes me think like so far it doesn't seem like it'll be against Nick for the next one. So again, I was like, does he not get at least one rematch afterwards? And I feel that I'm really connecting that right now, if that makes sense. So it just feels kind of awkward. Like he's like, well, I want to go back for the title, but again, they're not connecting that on the other end either.
Brett, I want to get your opinion on the segment that opened the show when my brother. It starts. You don't know how many times I wanted to punch the screen when he opened his mouth. Just any sort of noise annoyed me that time, which means he's doing a good job, by the way. But at the same, I really wanted to strangle him. Brett, what was it like for you being in the live audience, seeing Nic Nemeth up close? Because by God, that man has a good body. But also, what was it like with the interactions you can tell from the brother going on?
Yeah, I think starting that off, I was like, ugh. All right, let's get it over with. I was hoping that was the part of the show that I was like, all right, let's get this over with. Let's wrap it up. The my brother thing is definitely catching on with the crowd. It felt like people are reacting to that and are either they find it funny or they find it annoying. But again, it's getting a reaction. So I think, well, I'm not a fan of Ryan Nemeth. I think he's doing a good job making that a thing that he's getting a reaction. He's creating that connectivity with the audience, which I feel like since we've started doing the show, I've been big about highlighting when people do it properly. But having 4 people come out and me care about 2 of them, I'm like, and then after a while, I mean, like, I feel like just Ryan Nemeth went on, and I'm like, why do they have Wink out here? What is he doing? What are we saying after a while? And I feel like we still don't have any real explanation about Indiana Jones. So it's like between that and what are we doing with the 4 of these people just feels like a lot.
Yeah, it does. And the one of the things that I found quite telling that Dolph Ziggler, Nic Nemeth, I really need to remember to call him Nic Nemeth because I keep want to say Dolph Ziggler just for so many years, was he actually, I don't know whether you saw this in the live crowd or you saw, he had to instruct his brother where to stand during the promo. There was time where Ryan was just sort of wandering around and he had to hold onto his arm and drag him so that the camera was facing him. And it was plainly obvious that what he was trying to do, because then I'm going to try and instruct it. So if you go back and watch it, there's a point of when Ryan is talking and he's sort of turning around like this, but he's got the back of his head to the camera, where then Nick has to go over to him and pull him and hold him by the arm and then start then looking that way towards where the camera end is and start cutting the promo. And I'm like, you can't, it's too obvious what you're trying to do. I found that a bit annoying. And then I was like, you should know where the camera is. If someone's talking, you've got to be with there doing that. And I felt that was very amateurish from him. But at the same time, what I will counteract with that and say, he's annoying as shit, but he's so good at being annoying as shit, it works. It works. And you can tell where this is going, and you know, but then I don't think we know exactly how this is going to go. I think, and I'm going to put it out there now, I don't see Ryan turning on Nick. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think that there's going to be a shock, and I think that Dolph's going to go, Nick, stop it. Is going to go, I've had enough of you, super kick his head off, and then they have this Cody Rhodes Dustin feud that's going on that could have potentially happened. Yeah,
And I
Astrid,
wanted to piggyback off of what you said about the camera thing too. It also, and this is me saying it because I've seen him every now and then, but Ryan also doesn't have the amount or the years of experience that Nick does. And I
yeah.
think this is also what helps of having Nick kind of coach him in that sort of way, even though it's obvious, like you said, it's like I understand that it's obvious, but at the same time, I feel like it's good to have somebody as
Mhm.
Nick, like a veteran like Nick, showing him the ropes, because Ryan was a little bit here and there in FCW. He didn't get a lot of experience in that aspect of it, like a lot of time, and to be honest. And then not only that, but then in AEW, he wasn't there consistently either. So it's like he didn't get that time to really hit those reps to get that going. So this is when you can tell who has the experience and who doesn't, because Nick is the
Yeah.
one directing him, because Nick knows what he's doing at this point. But at the same time, it's good that he's learning from Nick as much as he can, and probably why also the storyline is happening the way it's happening, because not only with the issues that Ryan had with AEW, but I feel like it's good that he learns from somebody like Nick, who has been in different companies and has worked with different people and has years and years of experience. So I feel like in the end, it does benefit him to have that kind of person. I want somebody like that has that amount of
Yeah.
experience as well. So I feel like it's good in the end for him. So I'll say that's definitely something like positive coming out of this. And either way, when they do officially start feuding, because obviously we're just getting hints of it right now, they're not
Mhm.
officially in it yet. But once they start, again, that's another way of Nick coaching Ryan through this, and I feel like that's going to benefit him in the end. In whether he's a heel or face, and obviously we see him more like heelish at the moment, the way he's annoying. Either way, he's going to learn from Nick, because Nick has done both, and he's able to do both like pretty well. So I feel like he's definitely a good timing for Ryan to be learning the ropes with Nick, of all people.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Let's move on. We then had a backstage segment where Tessa Blanchard went face to face with Ariana Grace. And did anyone have any thoughts on this segment? We spoke about Tessa Blanchard last week. Me and Ed praised Tessa Blanchard for her promo work of what she did, of how good it was, of how she got the crowd going. But then we also put with the sentiment on top of that as well. We don't know whether this is the reason she's getting booed is because of the heel work or because of what's gone on before. Brett, I'm going to go with you first. You had next to you a few people that had "I'm a Tessa Blanchard guy," and I can see by your face at the few shots that we got, you weren't overly impressed with that, which is fair enough. What was your thoughts on the return of Tessa, and what did you think of the promo that she cut, not only in the live show, but not only tonight as well against Ariana Grace?
I'm nervous about anything with Tessa still, to be honest. I'm not sold. I know that there's reports, I don't know how valid they are, about her potentially burning bridges with CMLL, but then I think I saw something about those not being true. It's hard to gauge, and I feel like I can't even feel for Tessa, because if she had done the whole public apology thing, then maybe you could say, oh, they're probably blowing it out of proportion, they can't accept an apology. But because she hasn't gone about things the right way, it just makes me very apprehensive to get invested in anything. And I think that's what you saw with the live crowd. A lot of the people reacted to her, not because Tessa's a great heel. She's a fantastic professional wrestler, but people do not like her right now. I mean, and rightfully so, due to a number of different reasons. I'm friends with one of the people that brought those signs. They initially wanted me to hold one, and I said no. I politely declined because I'm not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of the way she's handled things. And it's not just because of the racism allegations. Everybody is hung up on that. And that, I think, is the problem with the debate online about Tessa. Is that's one part of the problem. All of these women that have come forward saying that they make her she makes them uncomfortable is a huge issue as well. And you can say, oh, her and La Rosa Negra made up, but all these other women have not indicated that they've made up with her or she's even tried. So I think there's a big amount of like the loyal TNA fan base that is currently trying to make an argument for Tessa because TNA is investing in Tessa. But I don't think Tessa's stupid by any means. I think she's a businesswoman at heart, and she's trying to get into NXT. She's trying to get to WWE, and she's using TNA as the catapult for it. And TNA's biggest problem usually is TNA, and I think that they're going to end up stepping or tripping over their own feet here, and that makes me nervous. She did get a reaction, I will say that. I mean, it comes across good on TV because she's heel and she's getting booed, but it's not being booed because, oh, she's doing great at her job. It's because she has conflicting morals and is not the best at handling her own individual PR.
Yeah, I think that's probably the fair thing to say. But then we're going to go into the next part as well. We had Cora Jade debut match inside of a re-debut, if we put it, since she's joined the NXT brand, which I only found out during the show. I didn't know she was in TNA before. But she's also the queen of death matches at one point as well. I think she was on Busted Open with Bubba Ray, and they said it on commentary as well that she's done that in the past and hasn't really done it since, because they probably fear that if she makes one step wrong, she'll be out for another 8 months. So I'm going to go with our resident NXT correspondent here. With I'm not going to lie, I can't believe I said that word without messed it up. It messed up the word messing up. How in the Lord's name have I done that? Anyway, I'm going to go over to Astrid Pizarro here. What was your thoughts on Cora Jade's re-debut in TNA? Yeah.
Well, first, I want to congratulate Hyann for getting a spot like this. She's somebody that's really up and coming in the Texas indie scene, and somebody that I'm surprised hasn't been signed yet by a company like TNA. So congrats to her for getting this spot here too. It's not often that we get people, especially from the ladies division right now, somebody from NXT come into TNA and having a match. I feel like they did very well together. They had a really good chemistry. I just felt like the match was too short. That's the only thing that we might complain. I would liked it to develop a little bit more, but at the same time, this is just kind of tease it up until we get Cora versus Masha. So I understand why it was kind of short as well. But before that, I think they play. I know I saw it on social media, but I think they played it in the stream too. She was backstage and she was getting welcomed by Xia Brookside. I was going to say Xia Lee, Xia Brookside, and she had an attitude with Xia, and they had to separate them. So when she wins the match, she's gonna beat up Hyann, and then Xia comes in to do the save, and there was at that point that then Masha comes in as well. So I definitely liked building up something there. I suppose they're probably gonna have her versus Xia at some point before Masha comes in the picture as well, which wouldn't surprise me either. I think my only complaint about this match was there was a point that Hyann is kind of, I don't want to say holding, she's leaning on the ropes from the outside in, and Cora's supposed to hit her. I think it was a drop kick if I'm not mistaken, and you can see from the angle that she didn't even hit her when he did. But at the same time, I'm glad that Hyann caught that moment in the timing, and she sold it as she got hit. So she did very well with the timing there as well. But again, overall, I enjoyed the match, and yeah, I feel like it was exactly what we needed at that moment to continue on with the story.
Brett, I'm going to go to you. What was your reaction to seeing, I don't know if you've seen Cora Jade before in a live show, but this new Cora Jade that's coming from NXT, this NXT Cora Jade, and seeing her live potentially for the first time. What was your reaction to the match and the reaction to the audience potentially of what they thought of seeing Cora Jade? She got quite a lot of chants, I heard as well. So what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, people were definitely invested in seeing her, which was good. To be fair, she's quite large in our thumbnail. So the match itself was very quick. I felt the ending felt abrupt. It was just kind of like DDT, boom. Okay, we're done. I didn't love that. I don't really know how to gauge Cora from an in-ring perspective, whether I like her or not. But I will say from a character and just I don't know if you want to call it marketing and character, I feel like she does that stuff very well. And she feels different. She feels unique from really anybody else that you put her up against when it comes to her as a character and her look and theme song and everything. I I am a little bit nervous though where this is going. I get that there's a storyline brewing with Masha, but I'm nervous that they're going to potentially try to pull the trigger and end up having Cora as champion. And I hope that they don't do that, because I feel TNA sometimes just gets like very excited to be involved in something, and
I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
TNA gets very excited to be involved in something sometime, or a lot of the time, and I'm just waiting for them to put the title on somebody that's in NXT. And I think, out of the options that they have, even just out of the people that they featured so far, I think putting the title on Cora and taking it off of Masha would be an awful move. So I hope that that's not where they're going.
I like Cora Jade. I really like her. I know Astrid has a different opinions on me.
And this is Mark's last week in making an impact by saying that.
Hollywood Astrid coming out full force there. No, I have different opinions with Astrid on this one, because I really enjoy Cora Jade. I really enjoy her seeing the way that she's now building this character that she's got. When she first started doing this, I didn't believe shit she was saying when she first started doing this. But now I believe not fully, but I'm getting to a point now where not Joe Hendry yet, but I'm sort of understanding why she is the way she is. She has a chip. She has an attitude towards the people that want to give her advice. She has a thing against CM Punk. She's got a thing currently with Bayley. She's got it with Julia. She's got Marsha Slamovich. She wants to prove something. And I think the TNA move is perfect because she gets out of Roxanne Perez's shadow. And I think that's the perfect thing for Cora Jade right now. But I was happy. I wasn't happy that she attacked my girl, Zaya Brookside, by the way, fellow Englishman. But I did find it funny that she put the cowboy hat on and she made that look good. When she was wearing that, I sounded a real creep there, and I do apologize to my wife with how that come out. Anyway, we're going to move on. We then had an interaction with Wesley backstage, with everyone saying, why Wes, why did you get interfere with the Rascals? Good boy. And why did you cost them the NXT Tag Team Championship? Good boy. And all of that. And then he was talking about later on that this is a step now for him to get to the NXT Championship, and he wants the NXT Tag Team Championships are the two guys behind, and the potential TNA Tag Team Championships as well, where the Hardy Boys. You guys got any thoughts on Wesley being back inside of a TNA arena? The last time I think we saw him, he beat the weird haired guy, the Gigi Dolan's fiance, him. Husband. Oh, so they're married. Okay. I don't. You told me the other week that Josh Alexander was married to the ring announcer. I didn't even know bloody now knew any of that. So I don't know personal lives. I just enjoy. I'm not a creep.
They were on the show together. What do you mean? You clearly missed that part.
Oh yeah, no. I'm recent. I'm full recent. Like I'm like a newborn baby.
Well, he had to relinquish the title. She was at ringside with him and Jed. Their son.
I never watched it then. Yeah, I never watched it then. I think I come after that. So the first time I watched TNA back, Moose was champion, and it was leading into, and it was the first time where there was TNA superstars turning up in NXT, and I was like, right, Marky likey. So that's how we did it. Brett, what was the reaction from the audience? Because we're getting more into Wesley later on. I have some thoughts on that one. Into his match against Ace Austin, but what was the reaction from the live audience there? One costing the Rascals all that stupid crap, and also his re-debut inside of a TNA arena.
He's one of those people that the NXT and TNA partnership, using him makes a lot of sense. And when he showed up, I feel that the crowd had that reaction. It just feels like a natural fit. So that's one of the moves that they've made so far in this partnership, where I was like, thank you for using some logic with your selections. But I think it's going to be interesting. how they approach this storyline. There's obviously the connection there with the Rascals, and like I said, we'll get into that more later. But he's protecting his new Rascals, if you want to call them that.
The big sons of bitches.
Yeah, and betraying the lengthy friendships that he's had with the other two, just because of brand loyalty. So that will be an interesting storyline, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. It's easy to build. It's easy to write around.
Astrid?
Yeah, he's one of those people that it does make sense, and I feel like he fits in so well in TNA that it feels kind of like scary because it feels like almost like he never left in that sense of it. And I love how he belongs in here and how you can put him in something with the Rascals or even the X division, and he still makes sense no matter how he does it. So it doesn't surprise me that he's one of the few people that is here. So I'm very glad that not only that he was here, but that we got him versus Ace Austin, because I love both of them.
Yeah. We then had another backstage segment between Spitfire and, as we will now call on this channel, Botox by Elegance, due to Brett's absolutely phenomenal name change, where they're going to be going 1-on-1, 2-on-2. Something's happening next week for them. But
it's
then
a knockout battle royal for the number one contendership.
Yeah, I might have slightly skipped past this bit, just saw them, wrote them down, and went, I can't be arsed to hear Ash by Elegance talk, so I skipped that. But we're going to go into the next match because we've been going 40 minutes and not even halfway through the show. And then we had Leon Slater versus Brian Myers, the System against the young English lad. By the way, I'm going to point this out. He was born and raised about 3 hours from where I live. So local lad for me. I'm going to go with Astrid first. What are your thoughts on this match? Because I'm going to be controversial with how I think about this match. But Astrid, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about this?
So I'm torn in this one because I like Leon and I like that they focus on him. I feel like he's somebody you can build for the future of the company. So I'm glad to see him getting that experience to do what he's doing. And his part of it, I say he's great. I'm entertained with everything he does. You know, he did like at one point, the way he was able to take out basically everybody in the system at one point in the match was really like nice to watch, because he goes and he just flies on top, like he goes even on top of the post and over everybody. He does like a little 619 at the bottom rope too. The way he does it was really smoothly done as well. So like his performance, chef's kiss. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, this part with the System is just boring to me. I'm bored with them, and I don't want this group on my screen. It doesn't catch my attention, doesn't keep my attention either way. So that's the part that is the downfall of this match for me. Having Alicia come in here, I think she gave Brian the ring for him to hit Leon, and that's what caused him to get that win. So I was like, if I could just take out Leon from this match, because that's the part that I love, and have everything else outside of it, like that's the only thing. Because I like Brian Myers, don't get me wrong, I like his performance and how he's here, but him being part of the group, I'm not a fan of that. I feel like he's one of those people that he can shine on his own as well, so I don't think he needs the group either way. So I feel like at the same time, I'm glad that Leon's getting that highlight in this match, and he's being used more and more often now.
Yeah, her name's not whatever the name you just said. Her name's Hannah Montana from now on.
Hi,
Brett.
Hannah Montana.
Thank you. By the way, great show. Brett, I'm going to go to you. What was you got to see Leon Slater live after you were talking about him? I think it was the Genesis show that you want to see him more. You want to see him in more segments and invest in him more. We got that to a certain point. What were your thoughts when you were seeing it live?
I had never seen Leon Slater live, so being able to experience his work in person was fantastic, because I've become a fan of him since he's joined TNA. I did not know about him before he signed with TNA. He's at a pre-show purgatory, so that's a highlight, but he is stuck still losing, and I can only hope that they're planning on turning that into a storyline at some point. I think it's the only way that makes sense after a while, because he has almost no momentum behind him, unfortunately, at this time. He's very impressive with what they give him in terms of on-screen time. His in-ring work speaks for itself. But the System, everything they do, I'm just like, okay, here we go again. Like, it just feels stale, and the System needs a reboot. I don't know how else to say it.
The perfect way to say it. I thought this was an excellent match. I thought this was Brian Myers at his best, really trying to help the youngster and trying to give him more in-ring experience against a veteran. If we could have lost the system on the outside with Moose wearing that shit-stained X Division belt, that would be lovely. I still hate that brown strap, by the way. Absolutely despise it. It was good. Leon Slater really showcased it, which then led to a backstage segment after this, after the loss, where Leon Slater, where the system went up to him and said, "You can be our bag carrier, you could be our admin, you could be our cleaner." But then the Hardy Boys come up and said, "No, he is the future. He is someone that we should be pushing forward." Which this is the bit that paid off for me. This is the bit that paid. If you're gonna put Leon Slater with someone, you're gonna put him with a bloke that does the same type of move, but you've just made it more ridiculous. With the Swanton 450, by the way, just the most ridiculous move I've ever seen in my life. But to pair him up with a pair of veterans, two guys that seem to be really invested in helping the young up-and-coming prospects in TNA, in Matt and Jeff Hardy. They've got a new lease of life. I watched an interview that the Hardy Boys did with Chris Van Vliet recently, and they just seem in such a better place than they were under the dictatorship of Tony Khan, Belland. And so it's very much, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know, that match is coming up next week, isn't it? If I'm right, was it the week after? I can't remember, but we won't get. I can't remember. Is it next week?
Yeah, next week they had Leon and the Hardys versus Moose, JDC, and Eddie.
Oh, why does Fandango have to be there? He's the worst one, by the way. Out of all the system, he's the worst one by far. Like Moose can't run. Fandango can't do anything apart from look good. That's it. And also, his song got #1 in the UK. His theme song, when he was Fandango in the UK, got #1 when he went over here. That's how batshit crazy this country is. Anyway, and then there was Sami Callihan. Right, I don't know. You said his name a few times. I still can't get this. I've literally called him on my Google Doc the lanky one. Sami Callihan is Mans.
Yeah.
So I have to do so it's Mans. So basically, he's calling himself a man with an S. I'm a man's. Anyway, the lanky one. I'm still. We'll get into it. Both of your thoughts on this thing with OnlyFans. These two having a match, potentially sponsored by OnlyFans. What's going on here? Someone please help me out with this one. I watched MLW when they were trying to find out who the baby daddy was. This is close to it at this point, with the batshit storyline. Open floor. Who would like to discuss this?
I just feel like
this thing
with him though, the reveal. I don't know if I got the reaction correctly, but you can correct me obviously if I'm wrong. But I just felt like it was anticlimactic because it just felt like when the reveal did happen, you didn't hear cheers or boos. I feel like it was almost like crickets. So it's like that's not a good reaction to have either way, because when you come out, at least you expect somebody to react in some sort of way. But when it's quiet, it's too weird. And it's like you don't know how how to feel about it. And I've seen a little bit of Mans here and there from his clips in GCW, so I don't know anything from him in that aspect really, aside from that. So I'm willing to see how it goes moving forward, but so far I'm not sold on it, and I feel like it's just kind of like lackluster at the moment. Definitely, I didn't have an idea who could have been for the reveal, and then when he got brought up, I was like, oh, that's not what I thought it was gonna be. But sure, let's see what happens here.
I didn't even know who he was. Ed had to explain it to me on the live show who the hell he was.
But now you're gonna know about him. So yeah, it just feels very quiet and lackluster for me. I feel like I would have liked a little bit of somebody else that would have given people like that, like, oh wow, this is a debut, or like somebody, maybe one of the releases. Like if it was, for example, for me, Baron Corbin, I know probably won't be a part of it, but like if he was the reveal, my reaction I feel like would have been totally different from people.
Actually, he's not called Baron Corbin anymore, is he? What's he called?
Yeah.
What's that name he's going for now? The Dire Wolf thing?
Bishop.
That's it. Bishop Dryer. That one, that someone needs to rethink that.
So my question to you, Brett, is how was the reaction for
Yeah.
him at that reveal? Because I felt like it was very quiet. I feel like there was no cheers or boos really. I feel like it was more silent.
Yeah, almost everyone in the crowd had no idea who he was. That's the reality of it. I am aware of him, and I was kind of kicking myself a little bit because I almost made a tweet about how I thought STL was going to end up bringing Mance into TNA. I didn't think about it, though, in this light. I just thought it was going to happen at some point, and then, of course, it happened the next day when I had the thought. So now I just sound like I'm making everything up, but...
No, we believe you. We believe you.
I think the way that I start my opinion on this is going to sound controversial, I feel like, but I think everything about this is actually perfect when you look at it, other than the way they marketed it. So the 23 and them hyping it up over time is the problem with this. I think had they not made it seem like such a big reveal that everybody was going to be knowledgeable about, if you look at the storytelling aspect and the way that TNA pivoted from the issues with PCO and made this just such a natural fit storyline-wise, TNA deserves their flowers for it, in my opinion. But them hyping up this big reveal and the lights going out and everything like that, if the lights are going to go out and they do all this dramatic stuff, usually it's either a big name that people are going to know, or B, it's going to be somebody with some type of character that warrants the lights going out, some sort of like mystery to them, and that's not Mance Warner's character at all. So I think that's a big problem with how they presented it as well. I was expecting it to be Baron Corbin the entire time, but when we didn't get that, I was kind of like, oh, okay. And it just really highlighted the problem with TNA's roster, but I also think, they have some options now because of recent contract clauses ending with some of the WWE releases that took place in November. But you could just tell that the roster's struggling, but they also really don't have options. So unless they learn to start investing in indie talent and building them up on their own, which I don't think they've done a very good job of in recent memory, they really don't have a whole lot of options until, now, thankfully, but for the most part, it's on the knockout side. So yeah, they really got to figure something out for their roster. I think Mance will be a good addition, though, as long as they do the storyline with him post Sami Callihan correctly.
I beg to God. Why are you writing on my Google Doc? He's called the lanky one.
No, it's
Don't
just so you know how to type it for later.
You do realise, right? I'm not going to lie. I'm going to forget that as soon as this show ends and still call him the lanky one next time I see him. I'm not going to lie. Right, next up. And I know we tried to play a video last week with his reaction for him returning back to TNA. Mustafa Ali is back inside. There we go. Back inside of a TNA arena in his first match against Laredo Kid. I'm gonna be open with this one.
Don't do
it. Some of you may.
Don't do it.
Some of you may or may not know, I have never been a fan of Mustafa Ali. Yeah. I don't like. I respect his in-ring work, but as soon as a microphone goes near his lips, I want to go to sleep. I kind of hate myself for saying this. I think he might be the perfect person to be back in TNA. And as much as I don't want to admit this, because my hatred from Mustafa Ali goes back to the WWE games, when I used to use him as a jobber just for fun. If I was angry about life, I used to reboot the game up, me with any character against him, just to have a bit of, I'd throw him through about 45 tables just to get myself feeling better. But I think he's going to be the next TNA World Champion. And I think I might enjoy that. Brett?
Yes!
I imagine this is what a proud parent feels like.
Trust me, as a parent myself, Yes.
Interesting that you say you see him as next TNA champion. I didn't consider that happening quickly, but what I've had in my mind for the longest time now is Santana winning at Slammiversary in New York, and I want that to happen so bad because I freaking love Santana. But then Ali coming into the picture, I'm like, I don't know. I'm struggling out here. Both my man and
I'm presuming you may or may not have seen that there is a Mike Santana. We know Ali wins that match. Laredo Kid didn't have his best match inside of a TNA ring, made quite a few missteps and mishaps during that, but he tried to be very fast in what he was trying to do and made a few mishaps with that. And Ali won it, which then goes backstage to Mike Santana and Ali talking about that Ali will find someone who is always ready. Woo, woo, woo. That will probably be facing Mike Santana very soon. Astrid, go to you. What were your thoughts on Ali returning and the possibility of Mike Santana and a Ali match, which, by the way, will make Brett combust? And I mean combust. I mean the level of yeeting would be phenomenal. This is at one point where I'm tempted just to do a watch along, just to watch him if that match ever happens live.
yeah,
Astrid,
I'm trying to hop the barricade to like get them to be like, guys, you don't have to fight. I can be the solution, but it didn't work.
Astrid, over to you.
Well, first of all, I did confirm it's Santana versus Cardona next week, sir. I can tell you don't pay attention. But anyway, no, this was a fun. I feel like aside from the main event, I will put the disclaimer right now. The second half of the show was built for me. The two matches, because it was this one and Wesley versus Ace Austin. This is made for me. No, Laredo Kid and Mustafa was. I think it was really fun. Especially loved it when at one point he does a little backslide and he's using like his feet. He goes up to the top rope and he leans over it like that, and the referee still sees him for the pin. Like that was so beautifully done. The way he was able to do that pin, like holy crap! And I like the part where he's also like sliding out to avoid Laredo Kid, but Laredo still hits him in the end. But kind of like that suicide dive. That was really fun to watch. But yeah, it's like the only thing I don't like is Laredo Kid losing, but at the same time, I understand why, because with Mustafa, I don't want to say re-debuting, but kind of in a way officially as a TNA wrestler, then you wouldn't want him to lose and you want him to get catapulted to the future. So I understand that part, but I also hate seeing Laredo Kid lose this. But fun match. I love the fast pace of it. I couldn't keep up with both of them, but I was entertained with everything that happened here. And yeah, I'm glad that he officially signed on. I feel like they definitely needed more names, especially with other people that are leaving, just to get that going and get people more excited to watch the product. And I feel like this is definitely one of them that it makes a lot of sense that they did it. I think it's just the irony that they have the NXT partnership as he signs on afterwards. But I feel like, again, it just creates something really fun for him. And this is Santana. Two people that I really enjoy watching together. So this is going to definitely tear me apart. But again, I can't wait for them to have that one-on-one match.
I want to get both your opinions on something. We've been talking about a lot of the superstars leaving, and I'm going to give you a quote of what's come out today or yesterday. When was this come out? I can't remember now. 31st today. So it come out today. So from a TNA side regarding cost cutting, the people that were offered new deals with less pay or switched to a pay per event and left the company were people that they were overpaid from their standpoint in the deals that Scott D'Amore had signed. Deals with Rhino, PCO, Trent Seven. Can never overpay Trent Seven, by the way. Kushida and Jada Chung, who departed, had their contracts expired at the end of the year and were offered renewals at less money. That was a similar situation with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, who were close to D'Amore. D'Amore had supposedly promised certain things to talent that once he was gone, the new management didn't go for. Your thoughts on the cost-cutting situation, and do you think that do you think Scott D'Amore dug himself a hole? That's why he left, or do you think he was right in what he did? I'm going to go with Brett on this one first.
I think that calling it cost-cutting, I've seen this a lot online, is a misrepresentation of what it actually is. I think it's just a reprioritization or a prioritization shift. Scott was looking out for a lot of the connections that he had that he felt were good talent, and I think a lot of the people that he feels are good talent, he was right on. But with the new management, taking over, that connection is not there, and you see it happen in day-to-day businesses all the time. It's no different with this. So I really don't think it's a cost-cutting thing. I know a lot of the websites and dirt sheets love running with that because it's easy to believe about TNA for a lot of the people online, because people just outright hate TNA for little to no reason. And it's something that gets them clicks. But I really just think it's a reprioritization of funds, and a lot of the talent that were asked to take cuts, to be honest, I don't think are really big losses for the most part.
Astrid?
So this is something that, for one thing that I always saw with TNA is that with the people that I want to say not all of them, but I would say most of them that left had more. They have been there for the long term. They have been there for quite a while, and you can tell a lot of it had to do with the fact where Scott D'Amore. And then once he left, you can tell that that's one of the reasons why a lot of people ended up leaving. They knew the management was going to end up changing, and if you notice, at the same time, not all of them, but most of them are big names that have been there for quite a while. The Jade that had been there for a while, the Josh Alexander. And those are some of the people that you can still had those relationships with Scott. And at the end, at the same time, I feel like I don't want to say costing, but it just feels like it's been a factor in TNA right now just because they lost so many people like almost in a row, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's the negative side of it. But like Brett was saying, the positive side is that it looks like they're changing the priorities. And when I saw that same post that you were reading, Mark, it reminded me of what my brother always said. He said, when you sign with TNA, you get a title shot. And it's always funny when I think about it that way, because I see it happen quite a few times where the people are just like, they're brand new, they just signed on, and then they end up getting a title shot somehow. And it just makes me think like Scott he was looking out for his people a lot quite often. I feel like that definitely people feel like that wasn't happening with the new management at the same time. So you feel like there's definitely that shift in the environment, and you can tell by the people that are leaving there as well. And you can see that Scott was also the kind of person that was making a lot of promises, not knowing what his what it'll be for the future with him within the company. And I feel like with him, you can't really give all those promises when you never know when anything's gonna end, like your role within the company. So yeah, it just I feel like a lot of it has been in a way a loss to TNA just because I feel like they're losing a lot of people more than they're signing on at the same time. So in that sort of way, it feels like if you look at the roster, it feels like a smaller roster than compared to most years at this point. So I feel like that's the only thing that I don't want to say concerning, but it's a little bit of like it feels kind of weird to see at the same time. We've said it before, and it's like we have with the women's tag division, we only had 2 teams, and it's like going back and forth between both of them. For the women, there's nobody really built up to go against Smash, hence why they're doing this battle royal, which is what Ed and I make fun of NXT. Like whenever they don't have anybody, they go for a battle royal and create stories out of it with the eliminations and the winner going against the champion. So it just feels that sort of way. And at the same time, I do have some people. For example, we have a Savannah Evans who hasn't been on screen. Tasha Steele hasn't been on TV. I haven't seen Jessica Havoc in quite a while. Rosemary was used, and she seems to have disappeared again in that way. I feel like the only 2 people that I think that I know are out for sure is Killer Kelly because she's still on maternity leave, and then the other one would be Kylie King because she was injured, and I don't know if she's cleared it or not, but she had been injured for a while now. But aside from that, it just feels like we don't see a lot of people either at the same time. So it just feels kind of awkward in that sense of it. But I feel like they have lost more people that they have gained. And they definitely, like Brett said, definitely have to work on that aspect of getting new people signed on. People like Hyan, who was just there doing a match with Cora. And I feel like this is one of the people you can actually sign. You can sign somebody like Nixon, aka Tegan Knox, who's a free agent now, or even Indy Hartwell too. That's another free agent. I feel like that will benefit from being a part of this. So I feel like it's time will tell if they keep adding more people, because it doesn't feel like they're signing on too many right now.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But now we're going to move on to the next. I don't want to talk about this match. I was fully triggered, and I mean fully triggered. So we had Northern Armory versus EY and Josh Alexander. Me and Ed, our predictions was correct when this was announced. We did predict that this would happen. But before I hand it over to you guys to describe this, I have one thing to say, and that's fuck you, Eric Young. Astrid, over to you.
This is
I
gonna
knew
sound
I
very
always hated
funny.
him.
I like EY, don't get me wrong, but he just has as many turns as Big Show at this point, so it doesn't come off like it's a surprise, to be honest. It's like you had that moment, you're like, he's turning, and he, yep, I had it coming. So it didn't surprise me that that would happen, and I think, but you can correct me also if I'm wrong on this one. Is this probably the last time you saw Josh during the tapings as well?
No.
Okay, so because I just felt like the vibe that it gave me, I was like, this is the last time you see him to like get beat up like this. It's like it just feels like a thing that would do. So it didn't
Actually,
surprise me too.
it might be. The way that they taped it was very weird. I have
Okay.
to say, from a live perspective, I won't harp on that too much, but
Yeah.
I mean, before Impact Live was even live, we were getting matches.
Okay. Yeah, I had a
So
feeling. Yeah.
yeah, it was. I've never experienced that before, and even when Impact Live was no longer live, we
Mm.
were getting matches, and then yeah, it was just a very
Okay, because
odd setup.
NXT has done that too. When for the holidays, when they did the double tapings, they would basically tape in beforehand. So they, instead of starting at 8 o'clock, they would start like at 6 o'clock, for example.
Mhm.
Do the 6 to 8 for the show that night, and then the 8 to 10 ish kind of tapings for the next week or so. So it makes sense. Like they do stuff like that sometimes. But I just, in my mind, when I saw this happening, I just thought, this is the last time we're gonna see Josh, isn't it? And he had to go out this way. I feel like I could have done without the turn though. At the same time, as predictable as it was, I feel like they could have had just a regular match. But at the same time, the Northern Armory being the two younger guys, I feel like it would have been, I don't want to say difficult, but you wouldn't want them to lose just because they're people you're going to build off the future of the company. But at the same time, I don't think they would have wanted Josh to win on his last match. It just feels that type of way. So that's what made me like torn more about the result of the match. But I could have done without the turn, but I'm not surprised that it happened either way. I just want to know what Steve's reaction is going to be to it. I feel like it's the part I'm most curious about, because he was like, oh, be careful with Josh, and you know the way Josh has been and the way he's changing his attitude, so like be careful. He's like, I'm leaving because I don't want to watch it, but just be careful. And then seeing like obviously this happens, so I'm curious about his reaction on screen more than anything about it. But yeah, again, the turn doesn't surprise me, and he's like the Big Show in that aspect, unfortunately.
Brett?
Yeah, we are going to see him again. I'm almost pretty sure, like almost 100% positive. But there's another portion that I don't think we'll see, but I want to see if it airs first.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was actually really happy with this setup because of the fact that Northern Armory is being used. When I found out Josh was potentially or probably on his way out, and now it's happening, I was worried that Northern Armory would just not be used, and then they would be gone whenever their contracts run out, or if they're on paper appearance deals or whatever the case may be. But it really feels like a tag team that they could build around, and they should be building up the good hands as well. And between those two tag teams, and then you have the Hardys, you have the System, you could really have like a diverse tag division again. You also have the Rascals, and there's probably other people on the roster too that I think you can pair up with somebody else to at least get them some TV time. So they have an opportunity here to make the tag division on the men's side exciting. I just hope that they capitalize on it, but the fact they're investing in them and actually using them made me happy. So I took that out of it.
Yeah, fuck Eric Young. I'm so triggered. I really hope there's a show happening tomorrow where there's a countdown. Josh.
Minutes.
Josh. Come on. Go to the good side. Come on. Anyway. Yeah, well, no, TNA's the good side, and then it's WWE, and then you've got that other shit show that's called AEW. Next up, we don't pull that face. We've got Astrid's dream of all dreams, Wesley versus Ace Austin, and I'm not going to talk about this match because I have some. By the way, there is one thing I will say about this match. If that fat man in the audience kept shouting boring, I was going to jump through that screen, and as a fat man myself, literally Ilya Dragunov that fat man's face off, because I was sick of hearing that man's gob. Anyway, Astrid, carry on.
Jeez.
He pissed me off. I was really enjoying this match, and that man, shut up, you fucking prick.
I was not paying attention to anything.
No, I
was
gathered.
just, like, more concentrated in the match. No, this was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm no surprise here with, like, as Ed likes to call them, TNT coming in here and being a part of this as well. But one of my favorite part about this match is the overall vibe of, like, that fast-paced, athletic, really match, and I really love that between these two. There was a time that Ace Austin kind of pushes Wesley in such a way. He does like an up kick, like an upside down sort of kick, and it looks so fun the way he did it, and the timing of it was great. And again, this is what I love about these matches between people like them. Is like the timing is something that's really so smooth, and I just love seeing them together. But no surprise here, Wesley wins at the same time. I feel like this is something that it needed to happen, just because we have the story moving forward with the Rascals who come in here to make the save after they're beating up Ace Austin. But it just, I don't want to say it looks weird, but it just feels strange for me seeing the Rascals like separated like this. Wesley on the other side versus the other two against him. I'm definitely not used to that. But again, I love that they're progressing the story. So I'm guessing they didn't announce it for next week, but who knows? But I would definitely think they're definitely going to do Wesley and TNT versus Ace Austin and the Rascals.
Yeah, well, Wesley chose the right side, so he's a good boy. Getting away from that fluffy head for him. Brett, I'm going to go over to you. What was the live reaction for this match, apart from that fat man that kept shouting in it? What was your reaction to this match, and what were your thoughts on? Oh, I can already tell he was in dreamland watching this.
Well, the guy yelling boring, I mean, he was annoying, especially being there live, but it was clear he was trying to get a reaction out of them because his wife next to him wasn't giving him any. But I mean, I just analyzed what I saw. But
Clip that
the
one
match
up.
itself, the match itself, I want to like download this match and sneak into TNA's files and create a folder that says X Division, just so they have some references so they don't forget next time what the X Division is supposed to look like, because that match is what the X Division is supposed to look like. It was fast-paced. It was believable. Two absolutely incredible in-ring wrestlers. No notes, no complaints. Like, they just need to produce that content when it comes to the X Division. And it's so easy, but they consistently make it a chore. And I don't understand it. But we got this match, so I'm excited, and I'm hoping that at some point they get the ball rolling.
Perfect. Right, let's get to our main event where we had Nic Nemeth and his Nic Nemeth brother against AJ. By the way, I'm just annoying as that is. It is so much fun to say. It annoys me, but anyway, by saying it versus Brett's favorite person, AJ Francis, and against the pink hair man. I like this match. It had what it needed to a certain point. I think I just bullshitted myself that I didn't like this. Because I'm reading back. I'm reading back my notes, and I know that I did I was talking while in it, and I know for a fact I didn't say half of this, which is really annoying me. But no, I didn't like this. I didn't like this as a main event. This was an opening match. Ryan Nemeth picked up the win. He jumped in front of Dolph and got it. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I didn't give a shit.
Well,
That's how I felt, right? I didn't give a shit about this match. This is the problem. I didn't care about AJ Francis. I don't care about my brother either. Nick, I slightly cared about. I know Brett loves AJ Francis, and he really this was his main one he was really looking forward to. Yeah, I could shit on this match a little bit longer, but I'm going to hand you over to AJ Francis' #1 fan, Brett, and I would like you to tell me how much you love seeing AJ Francis in the flesh.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this is where I left. No, really, I got up and left. I decided food was more important.
By the way, there is a shot of you halfway through the match, and you're never seen again.
Okay, yep, I left. Yeah, I left. I was just like, you know what, I'm hungry. I could be hungry, or I could be eating and fulfilled and watch from a distance, which I did. Because I was like, oh, I paid for a ticket. I guess I'll watch it from a distance. But yeah, what a crock pot of I don't give a shit. That's what this match felt like. I was just like, part of me wants to hype up TNA doing this in the sense that I know it's going to lead to Nick and Ryan fighting over who's the better brother. Because I think TNA needs to get better at having feuds that are not centered around a title.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything right now, because their divisions are so weak, everything feels like it's about a championship or becoming number one. Wrestling doesn't have to just be about a championship, and I think they miss opportunities a lot of times to build up people or show what certain talents can really do because they're not championship ready. So if they're not championship ready or believable to be in the running, even though they gave AJ Francis a main event, but yeah, I don't know. I hope that the payoff is worth it, but this match, womp womp, yawn emoji.
Astrid?
I don't know if I can go after that. No, I just I felt the same way. This match didn't scream main event to me. I feel like I could have done with either Wesley versus Ace Austin or Laredo Kid versus Mustafa Ali. Like that would have been a main event to me because it felt definitely like more important. My attention was on it versus this one. It's like the thing that really stands out more here is the ending. Is the fact that Nick is doing his finisher. Ryan tags himself in. He does the pin, and then Nick looks at him confused, like basically you stole my thunder from me, and he just gives him that face of like, why would you do that? So it's like like Brett was saying, it's like you have to think about like how is this gonna pay off later, and hopefully it feels right at the end. But it just like right now it feels like it's very like a limbo. I don't know how I feel about it until I get a little bit more. Again, I don't care for AJ Francis. I only care about Casey, and I hit that Casey's the one eating the pin here, unfortunately. But yeah, I love the pin campaign. So if they do a meet and greet with him, I will take a picture with him, but not the other one. I will pull up bread on him and do that as well. I'll be
Queen.
like, I'll be like, do I get half a price? I only want Casey, just in case. But yeah, I feel like it's not what I really wanted it to be. The combination here wasn't good for me from the beginning or at the end. So I feel like I could have done with either one of these, to be honest. But I feel like I'm more interested in more like the Ryan and Nick story than I am anything involving First Class right now. So yeah.
After that match, it was announced backstage that we will be getting the Nic and Nemeth will be challenging Fraxium for the NXT Tag Team titles next week on TNA. Sorry. So that is something we can look for. But we're about to end the show, but because tomorrow is the Royal Rumble, and as this is a TNA partnership show that has now partnered with WWE, I would like you guys, 3 women, 3 men, that could potentially turn up in the men's or woman's Royal Rumble. Should we
surprise people?
Surprise. You can't go with Jordan Grace because she's still she's not a TNA roster member anymore. And please don't put her in NXT.
Oh wait. STG, yes, we're here. Everybody's here. Yeah, we're here every Friday, hopefully around 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you don't remember now, you know. Surprise, I would say. Okay, this is come out, and I'm hopefully gonna record a video on this. We'll see how it goes. But from the people that I'm thinking surprise entrance, Nikki Bella, and this is gonna be like very like I don't want to call her a wild guess, but it kind of will be. I think we get the iconic. So Cassidy and Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I think those are the other 2 that I would see showing
Okay,
up as
what
a
about
surprise.
TNA current roster members that could turn up in the Royal Rumble?
I don't know because it feels like more. I feel like if like being that Jordan would have been the one if she was there. The only one that I could see maybe Masha, but at the same time, it feels like more like NXT people will show up than TNA. So I really don't know.
Okay, I'm going to give my prediction. I'm going to go for. I think Marsha Slamovich will be in the Rumble. I think Gail Kim will be in the Rumble. I don't know why. I just want it to happen. And maybe I don't know. Zaya Brookside. No, it's not going to happen. But maybe someone like that can maybe help tell a story for TNA. Who knows? Brett, I'm going to go with you.
I agree with Masha and Gail. I think if there was going to be a third, I would say Rosemary.
Yes, yeah, I think that's probably right. Let's go with male superstars now. TNA current roster members that could potentially turn up at the Rumble. I think I know the three. If I had to put money on it, I would pick the three I would go for. But Brett, I'm going to go for you. I
AJ
really want. Oh, I really want him to do that, and I really want him to flop over the top rope. That would just be extraordinary. So
No.
AJ Francis was number one for you.
No, I want WWE to make money. So, Nic Nemeth feels like a good fit. Joe Hendry. I don't know who else. I mean, I feel like if you do one, they would probably do both, but I feel like Jeff Hardy would be great because of this whole redemption story and everything going on right now.
Yeah, Astrid.
Yeah, you stole my picks. I was gonna say Matt and Jeff and Joe Hendry because I feel like that face off with Punk and Jeff would just like I would die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for Jeff Hardy. I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler, and I'm going to go with Joe Hendry. Those are my TNA. But if I want to go batshit crazy, then I'm going to go for Abyss. TNA legend just comes out and just chokes everyone, gets Barbie out and whatever. What was his called? Because Mankind had Barbie. What was that metal pole crap that he had?
Janice.
Thank you. Brings that out and just swings the life out of it for it.
I just had a thought.
Oh, God help us.
What if we get Ariana and Santina?
Oh no, not Santina.
Oh yes,
No.
yes, yes.
No,
I am full.
No,
I
we
am
already done that.
so
You
in
wasted a
support.
spot.
No, Astrid,
No.
stop talking. I am so in support of this. You don't know. I am so in support of this. It's unreal.
I think if they did it though, they should have Santina come out and then get attacked by Ariana. Like do it something like that.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want Santina to take a shot from somebody else. That partner. We already done that before. No, thanks.
Yeah.
I just even if he goes in the men's rumble and just does the walk like this down to the ring, I just want to see that power walk done one more time. It would just make right. We're going to end this here. Before we go anywhere, Astrid, can you let everyone know exactly where they can find you and exactly what you got coming up, maybe potentially over the weekend, or what you got coming up next week?
No, I'll be going, attending Royal Rumble watch party. So we'll see how that goes. But on Monday, I'll be doing WCW Women's Classic Wrestling with Auntie and Mel Ball. Again, a new episode of the Mayon Classic that we're discussing. Tuesday, taking over with Ed. We're here leading on to the next, I forgot the name. Vengeance Day. There you go. The next pay-per-view NXT. And then again, Friday here at 5 p.m. with both of you discussing TNA here. So other than that, you can find me on my Twitter and Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads, Astrid Pizarro20. And if you're here, most likely you're also on my YouTube channel. So if you are, you can hit subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when I upload or go live, and hit a like on the video. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Right. Brettalar, where can we find you, my son? And what have you got coming up?
All right. Well, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch at Honestly Brother. You can find me on YouTube. My gaming YouTube is Honestly Brother. My wrestling YouTube is Honestly Brother Wrestling. And on Twitter, I am at It's Brother. And I will be here every Friday at 5 p.m. discussing TNA and all its madness with you.
Love that. Right. What have I got coming up? I've actually got pictures for you lot. That's how fucking prepared I am. Tomorrow, I will be here tomorrow before the Royal Rumble, where I will be hosting a pre-show with Andre C, where we're going to be discussing the Royal Rumble plus the 2 out of 3 falls match between Machine Gun Kelly Crew versus DIY. That will be happening alongside the others and our predictions for Royal Rumble winners. I already have one, and I know I'm wrong. So this could be fun. And then also later on that evening, I will be there with Bobby Munson, Jose on air, and Ella J, where we will be reviewing the Royal Rumble as well. But put in your calendars as well, because not this Sunday, next Sunday, we are going to be doing a Super Bowl watch along. So make sure that you get your food ready. Come and sit with us while watching the game. You can see a dumb Englishman trying to watch Kendrick Lamar, which could be interesting, as well as the Super Bowl as well at the same time. And not only that, if you want to put in your calendar as well, February 18th, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, Formula One are doing their 75th anniversary livery special, where they have got every single team, the 20 drivers, 20 drivers, all of the board, and they will be revealing what the cars will be looking like in the 2025 season. So yeah, make sure you come and check me out. I am all down below. I'm currently doing Wrestle World is currently on in WWE 2K24. I will make the announcement now. We've had to cancel Elimination Chamber because the dates add up to WWE 2K25. So I've had to get rid of the Elimination Chamber so the dates line up to when the WWE 2K25 comes out, and we're getting that. But very, very soon, we have got our very own Royal Rumble that will be coming onto that channel as well. I have recorded it. I know the winners, but the other two do not. I'm angry with both of it. You will find out that when we go and see it from that. But on my football channel as well, I have got South Shields trying to get them to the Premier League as quickly as we can. But the anger levels are reaching a new level. So make sure you go check that out. But if you're watching this on our local establishment, down below is where you go and find all of the links to all of their socials and everywhere else you can find them. We've got some excellent content creators that are here every single day. I think we're nearly 7 days a week that we've got content coming out for you as well. Live shows, pre-recorded, trivia. Last night there was a trivia show that will be happening every single month for Ring Respect Radio. I have sponsored that show now, so that whoever wins on the on-screen, I will be sponsoring money to their charity of their choice. I can be good. I prefer to be ugly. So make sure you go and check that out as well. But with love, with care, my name's been Mark. I've got to remember which way I got a point. That one's Astrid Bizarro. That one's the beautiful Bretta. And we will see you guys next week for more TNA.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn.